All right, guys, welcome back. I'm going to do a video today on the substitution method. Okay, so when we have a system of equations, that is, i.e. more than one equation, one of the most common methods we can use is the substitution method. So, substitution method is real simple. You substitute one equation for another one. Okay, so if I take this equation here, I've got x equals blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what I can do is everywhere I have x, everywhere that I have x, you can put 2y plus 3. Anywhere that you have an x, you can put 2y plus 3. Why can you do that? Because x is equal to 2y plus 3. Okay? So I'm going to take this bottom equation, and I'm going to say 8y minus 2x equals negative 2. Okay? So see what I did there? Instead of writing the letter, I put parentheses. Now, what do I know about x? X is equal to 2y plus 3. So I'm going to put 2y plus 3 in those parentheses. Now, go ahead and distribute. We get 8y minus 4y minus 6 equals negative 2. Now I'm going to combine some like terms. What do we do? Okay, well, 8y minus 4y is 4y. And I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So if I add 6 here and I add 6 here, I get 4. Divide by 4 on both sides, what do we get? Y equals 1. Cool. Now, we're going to substitute this into that first equation. So I'm going to say x equals 2y plus 3. And I already know now that y is 1, so 1. Well, 2 times 1 is 2. So, x equals 5. Pretty cool. All right. Now, one last thing. Can you check your answers? Okay. Yes, you can do it mathematically, or you could even do it mentally. So if you're doing it mentally, right? When you get up to certain levels in math, you like to do stuff mentally, saves time, right? So take this guy here, right? You know y is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. So when I put in 1, I get 5. Cool. That worked. Try it on this second equation. Okay, try it on this second equation. 8 times y would be 8 times 1. I'm going to write that result down. Okay, 8 times 1 is 8. All right, here I got minus 2 times x, which is minus 2 times 5. Well, minus 2 times 5 is minus 10. Whoops. Making a mess here. And that's equal to negative 2. That's what the equation says here. Okay. Well, what is 8 minus 10? It is, in fact, equal to negative 2. So because this is equal to this, we know our answers are right. That's how our answers check out. Okay. Let's try another one. Okay. Let's try another one. So, y equals 3x minus 2. 2x plus 5y equals 24. Cool. Okay. So, what are we going to do here? I am going to take this equation and go 2x plus 5y equals 24. Now, if you pay attention, last time I substituted for x. This time I'm substituting for y. The reason is I already have y equals blah, 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 blah. Okay? So it's really easy to say everywhere you have a y, put all of that. Okay, so I'm going to put 3x minus 2. Great. Now distribute. You get 2x plus, well, 5 times 3 is 15x, and then 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, and that's equal to 24. We're going to combine these two and get 17x, and we're going to add 10 to both sides. Okay, it helps if you can see my whole equation, doesn't it? Right? So we're going to add 10 to both sides, and that's going to give me 34. Okay, cool. All right, well now If I divide both sides by 17, lucky me, 17 goes into 34 exactly twice. Okay, so I've got x equals 2. Now what? Substitute this value into one of these equations. I'm going to sub it into the top one. And I'm going to do it mentally. A lot of this you can do mentally. So take that 2, plug it in here. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. What is 6 minus 2? It's 4. So y equals 4. Done. Okay. Can you check this? Absolutely you can check this. I can take these two numbers and plug them into either of these equations. I'm going to plug them into the bottom equation, right? So I get 2 times x plus 5 times y equals 24. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and 5 times 4 is 20. So I get 24 equals 24. That tells me that these answers are correct. Okay, that tells me that these answers are correct. And then one last point, if you're in a math class, if you're in an engineering class, it's totally different. But if you're in a math class, we're going to want you to put your answer as a point. And so if you take this answer, x equals 2, y equals 4, you would actually write it 2, 4, right? X first, y second. Okay, so that'd be our final answer in a math class. Okay, one more question. Okay, one last question here. 5x minus 3y equals 8. 6x plus 7y equals negative 1. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Don't use substitution. Don't use substitution. Okay? So I just showed you this substitution method, and now I'm telling you not to use it. Let me show you why. If I try to rearrange this for y, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to take this guy and move it over. He's going to be negative. And then I'm going to divide everything by 3. And so I'm going to get y by negative 3. And we're going to get y equals 5/3 x minus 8/3. And then you're going to have to substitute in fractions. Now, if you like fractions and you're okay with them, then use it. But my experience with students is they don't like fractions. Fractions tend to complicate their calculations, and they tend to make more mistakes with fractions. So, if you're going to do this equation, you don't want to use the substitution method. Because if you use the substitution method, you're going to end up with these fractions, and you're going to end up with more difficult computations. You say, okay, well, what if I do this one instead? Okay, well, let's solve this one for x. Okay, so you're going to move this over. It'll be negative 7. You're going to divide it by 6. So you get negative 7/6 y. And then you'll divide this by 6. So you get minus 1/6. Same thing happens. Okay. So if this happens, don't use substitution. I'm going to make a different video on the other method and take a look at that. That's going to be the method that tends to be my favorite because I don't end up with fractions. When is a good time to use substitution? When you already have an equation solved for you. Y equals blah, blah, blah. X equals blah, blah, blah. Okay? If you have two equations that look like this, and you want to use substitution, and you end up with fractions, I suggest against it. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And if you have any future video ideas, send me a message and let me know. Hope it helps.